Book 3, Chapter 3, The Adventures of Sir Percivale. When Percivale set out from Camelot in quest of the Holy Grail, he rode for many weeks without meeting with any unusual adventures. One day he met suddenly with Galahad, and they jousted together, neither knowing the other, and Sir Galahad struck him from his horse and rode away. "I must find this knight who carries a white shield with a red cross upon it," thought Percivale, as he got slowly to his feet and remounted his horse. "Until this day no knight in the world has been able to overthrow me except Sir Lancelot, and that, I am sure, is not he." Percivale rode deep into the forests after this, anger and envy growing in his heart against the unknown knight with the red cross on the white shield. But at length he came to a little hermitage where dwelt a recluse, a holy woman, who spent her days tending all those who came to her for aid, and in praying for their souls and for her own. She made Percivale welcome, and by degrees he told her many things, both of his past life and of his present quest. "Noble sir," said she, when he had spoken concerning the knight who had overthrown him, "if you seek to be revenged, you run into great sin, for it is pride, and pride only, that prompts you to it. Know, moreover, that he who smote you from your horse was Galahad, the holy knight of Logres, who sat in the siege perilous. You knew him not because of the shield he bore, yet that shield is the divine token of his mission, and is marked with the blood of Joseph of Arimathea." "Now, madam," said Sir Percivale, "having learnt these things from you, I give you my word that never again will I feel envy towards Sir Galahad. Rather will I seek him, and be his fellow on this quest, if I am worthy." "Worthy indeed you may be," answered the recluse, "if you be aware of all temptations. The powers of evil will lie in wait for you, armed with many enchantments. If you win through them in all pureness of heart, and come to Castle Carbonek in the wastelands, there you shall find the Holy Grail, and there also you shall find the Lady Blanchefleur, whom you have sought these many years, and she shall be your wife. But these things shall come to pass only if you are worthy of them. Go forth, Sir Percivale, in pureness of heart, and in obedience to the law of heaven, and win your kingdom." Then the recluse blessed Sir Percivale, laced his armour upon him, and sent him on his way, his heart singing with joy at the thought of his quest. So he rode all the morning, and in the middle of the day came suddenly upon about 20 armed men who were carrying a dead knight on a litter, all pierced and cut with many wounds of spears and swords. When they saw Sir Percivale, they asked him whence he came, and he answered, "From the court of King Arthur." Then they all cried at once, "Slay him, slay him!" and set upon him from every side. Percivale fought bravely, striking more than one of them dead to the earth, but 7 of them smote him at the same time, while others killed his horse under him, so that he fell to the ground and would have been slain by them there and then. But on a sudden there came out of the forest a knight in red armour, bearing a white shield with a red cross on it. Like a thunderbolt he came, and men fell right and left beneath his spear and sword. Before long those who were left alive turned and fled away, crying with terror, and the knight rode after them and rode into the distance. "Fair knight, abide and suffer me to thank you," cried Percivale, for he realized that it was Sir Galahad, and he ran after him on foot as fast as he could, begging him to stop. But Galahad was too far away, and in a very few minutes Percivale could not even hear the sound of his horse's hoofs. Sad and weary he wandered on through the forest, and when night fell, lay down under an oak tree and was soon asleep. But at midnight he woke suddenly to find a strange woman standing beside him, her eyes flashing in the moonlight. "Sir Percivale, what do you here?" she asked. "My horse is slain," he answered, "and I have followed on foot after Sir Galahad until weariness overtook me." "If you will promise to help me in the thing I shall ask you," said the strange damsel, "I will lend you my own horse, and it shall carry you wherever you wish to go." "That will I surely promise," exclaimed Sir Percivale eagerly. "Wait for me here, and I will fetch the horse," said the strange damsel. In a few minutes' time she returned leading a great black horse, and Percivale was amazed when he saw it, for never before had he seen a horse so large and strong and fierce. But nevertheless he took the bridle in his hand, leapt upon the creature's back, and set spurs to its sides. Away went the horse into the forest, by mountain pass and rugged hillside, on and on through the cold, clear moonlight, rushing through the air so fast that Percivale seemed to have gone 4 days' journey in an hour. At last they came down a hillside to a wide river which rushed roaring between its banks, and it seemed as if the horse was going to carry him right into the midst of the flood. Percival tugged at the bridle, but the horse would neither stop nor turn. To the very edge they came, and Percival saw the dark, foaming water roaring in front of him. Then he made the sign of the cross, and the horse reared up suddenly, neighing wildly, and shook him from its back. Then it plunged into the river, screaming terribly, and was gone from sight. Only it seemed that the water burnt after it. Percival knelt on the bank and prayed to God, for he knew that it was a fiend who had sought to carry him to hell. For the rest of the night he knelt there praying, and in the morning he saw another strange thing. A great lion came down to the riverside to drink, and as it bent over the stream, suddenly a dreadful serpent fell from an overhanging rock and twined about the lion's neck and body, seeking to strangle it. Then a terrible fight began between the two, only it seemed that the serpent would soon gain the victory over the lion. Presently the lion roared as if asking for help, and Percival drew his sword and attacked the serpent, and in a little while cut off its head and flung it into the dark river. Then Sir Percival turned to see if the lion would attack him also, but instead it came and rubbed its head against him, and fawned upon him like a great cat. Percival cast down his shield and rested after the fight, and the lion stood and guarded him. Fierce and mighty though the lion was, thought Percival, he was taken unaware by the serpent, and could not prevail against it, but must needs call upon me for aid. Even in such case was I, when the fiend tempted me, and strong though I am, I would have perished miserably, had I not called to God for help. After this he wandered for many days through a wild and desolate country, and the lion went with him, protecting him day and night from all the dangers of the way. But at last he came to the sea-coast, and the lion left him on the edge of the forest, while Percival sat down to rest by the shore, wondering which way to go. "Noble sir," said a gentle voice behind him suddenly, "surely you are the good knight Sir Percival of Wales, who seeks for the wonders of the castle Carbonek." Turning around, Percival saw a lovely maiden dressed in black standing beside him with her hands clasped. Then he rose and greeted her courteously, but he said, "Lady, how know you my name and of the quest which I follow?" "But a little while ago," she answered, "as I came through the wastelands, I met with a knight who rides in red armor, bearing a red cross upon a white shield." "Ah, fair damsel," interrupted Percival eagerly, "that is Sir Galahad, the good knight, who I have been seeking these many weary days. Tell me where he is, I pray you." "I saw him in the waste forest," she answered, "chasing 2 wicked knights into the dead waters, and there he slew them. But there his horse was drowned, and he hardly escaped with his life. Now he rests at a hermitage near by, and tomorrow I will lead you to him. But come now to my pavilion and rest, for I do not think that you have been well entertained these many days." "Who are you," asked Percival, "that offer me such kindness?" "A poor disinherited lady, who was once the richest in the world," she answered. "Wicked men drove me from my castle, taking the most part of my goods, and I journey now to King Arthur's court, that he may send knights and men-at-arms to overcome the robbers." While they talked, the disinherited damsel led Percival along the seashore until they came to a little glade, carpeted with grass and flowers, where a silken pavilion was pitched. "Here, noble sir, you may rest during the heat of the day," she said, and Percival thanked her and took off his armor, which he placed beneath a tree, leaning his sword against the trunk. Then he lay down on a couch spread with silk and sweet linen, and slept all the day through. In the evening he awoke, and found the damsel awaiting him beside a richly covered table on which was set the finest meal that ever he had seen. When they had eaten, she led him back into the pavilion, and brought him wine in a great golden bowl, red wine, sweet and strong, and she pledged him in it, and handed it to Percival, and he drank of it, the strongest wine that ever he had tasted. Once more she filled the bowl, but she did not give it to him for a little while. Instead she sang to him a slow, mysterious song, and drew nearer and nearer to him all the while, until her arms were about him. "Lady," he said in a broken voice, "you are passing fair." "Sir," she murmured, "noble Percival, I am yours for ever and ever. Of all men in the world I love only you. So kiss me now, pledge me in this bowl of wine, and swear that from henceforth you will be mine alone, and do all things that I command you." Then Percivale pledged her in the strong wine, and bent forward to kiss her on the lips. But as he did so, he thought suddenly of Blanchefleur, his own true lady, and how he had sworn to love her alone of all women in the world. And he saw his sword, which leant against the tree, with the hilt uppermost, flashing in the evening light like a great shining crucifix. Then he cried to God for help, and made the sign of the cross upon his forehead. Immediately a great wind tore the pavilion away, so that it floated in the air like a cloud of black smoke, and was gone. "Fair, sweet Lord Jesus Christ, let me not be shamed," prayed Percivale. And the damsel screamed aloud, "Alas, Percivale, you have betrayed me." Then the great pure wind took her also, and she went with it across the sea, shrieking horribly, and it seemed that all the water burnt after her. Once more Percivale knelt alone, praying by the seashore, when the fiend had gone from him. Then he slept beneath the tree, and woke in the morning to find a ship moored by the shore, and a woman dressed in white, in the white robes of a nun, with an ivory crucifix hanging at her neck, bending over him. "Awake, Sir Percivale," she cried. "Wake and put your armor on. You have overcome the temptations of this world, and now you may enter the enchanted ship and sail with me towards Carbonek. Soon shall Sir Galahad be with you on the ship, and Sir Bors also, who must bear witness to the wonders that shall be. Do not fear, but come with me. I am your sister Dindrain, though you know me not, and Nesines, the holy hermit of Carbonek, has been my instructor." Then Percivale was filled with joy, and he put on his armor, and went down with his sister to where the enchanted ship was waiting for them.